Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras, and coming up in today's newscast, Syria alleges another round of Israeli airstrikes overnight. The Latakia port hit for the second time in a month. Meantime, opposition lawmakers forcing a quarantined Prime Minister Naftali Bennett to break his isolation. And finally, the James Webb telescope rocketing up beyond the stratosphere. Stay tuned for Israel's contributions to the project. Once again, morning headlines focusing north towards Syria. Syrian state media reporting strikes on the Mediterranean port of Latakia, the second allegedly Israeli strike on the strategic target in a month. Supposedly Israeli missiles landing in the Syrian port of Latakia early on Tuesday, and fires and explosions seen igniting at a container terminal at the site. Authorities still assessing the damages, as Latakia is Syria's primary commercial port. But in any case, this is the second such attack in a month's time. The Sana State News reporting major damages to the container yard, as well as to nearby residential buildings, a hospital, shops, and some tourist hotspots. Further, firefighters are said working to douse the flames for hours after the attack, but no injuries or casualties yet recorded. Israel, meantime, as usual, refusing to comment on the strikes, but it's highly suspected that the port targeted for its role in transferring military supplies to Iranian forces in Syria and in Lebanon. In fact, the earlier strike at the port, December 7, hitting a supposed arms shipment bound for Iran-backed fighters. And though rarely remarking on such reports, Israel repeatedly condemning Iran's encroachment in the region, vowing to prevent it and protect Israel's borders at all costs. In other news, Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba, which owns the popular AliExpress shopping site, now announcing that as of 2022, AliExpress will no longer cater to Palestinian shoppers. And according to Israeli Channel 12 News, the reason is that the Palestinian Authority's mail services refuse to handle any packages that have the word Israel in the address. Until now, many Palestinians didn't know this rule, and they wrote Israel as the destination country for shipping purposes rather than Palestine. So what other major losses are the Palestinians suffering over this policy, and how will the Palestinians get their mail? Joining now to discuss is ILTV reporter Asaf Nissan. Asaf, thanks so much for joining us. Now, what exactly, does this mean?
Basically, Aaron, what we're seeing is a decision done by AliExpress and pretty much the Alibaba Corporation itself not to cooperate anymore due to a clerical reason. We're not talking about anything more than a business decision due to the fact that packages were sent to Israel rather than Palestine. They had to go through Israel and customs and all kinds of long process overdue. And that's why they usually waited till the last minute to get their packages. Now, because of that, and of course, I'm not even talking about the Israeli mail services, which is its own problem.
Israeli mail has its own issue.
Yeah, but on this issue specifically, we're just seeing the problem is more of a clerical error, but the decision is due to the fact that they have so many errors coming on that part that they're saying Israel all the time instead of Palestine, and the PA is not willing to accept anything that's written anymore. Israel, Alibaba just decided, I'm just tired of it.
Okay, so it's business. It's not. There's no politics.
Your business
in this decision. All right. So why decide though to stop sales entirely? Isn't there a workaround? And what other companies maybe are making the same decision? So
the decision came mostly in the fact that they did the cost to cost of value evaluation and decided, in the end of the day, it's not worth it to them to do all those changes, especially since the orders are not that big. I mean, the amount of deliveries done to the PA in major cities like Ramallah, Bethlehem, Nablus, we're seeing them as big, but not as that substantial that AliExpress feels like they need to do it especially. And as for other companies, we're seeing, for example, the giant conglomerate e-commerce clothing company, Shein, that also decided to the fact that they're doing the same due to the same problem.